What's going on, guys? It's Maffu here, and I thought I would give you a little bit of a guide on how to prepare for KvK because I'm about to enter my craziest KvK yet. But before that, I want to give a huge shout out to I Love Mildew for becoming a member. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope I see you here more often. I really appreciate all my members, new members and old members. And yeah, let's get into the video. So as you can see, I am entering KvK on the 24th. Well, that's when pre-KvK starts. But I have a little bit of a checklist to go through for players coming to KvK. So let's go over everything you need to do before you enter Lost Kingdom. First and foremost, Speedups and Resources. Speedups and resources are the two most important things to save for KvK. For resources, you're gonna have to have a ton of resources to fight. If that means you're in KvK 1 and have to stop upgrading buildings and research just to save resources to fight, that's what you have to do. I will say KP is more important than power. If you can get a lot of KP, you'll be accepted into a lot of more kingdoms. Power is kind of just a dead stat because power is nothing if you don't fight with the power you have, you know? Same thing for speedups. I recommend you save a ton of speedups, and universal speedups are healing speedups. I know a lot of early game players are hesitant on using their universal speedups to heal their marches, but this is just the reality of the game. You have to use the universal speedups to heal, or you will just run out of speedups and just be sitting there watching while saving your speedups to do whatever you want with them in the future. But the KP is more important. You might also need to use these speedups to train troops if you take a lot of deads, so you kind of want to have a big stockpile of speedups before KvK starts. And again, if that means not upgrading things, not speed up research, not speeding up this and that, then don't do that. Save your speed ups and be able to fight for a long time. The next thing I want to talk about is action points. Now, action points are a mechanic in the game to stop you from being to do things infinitely, whether it's killing barbs or marauders, or even doing barb forts. Now, a big thing is to save your action points from the early game, pre-KvK, and off-season for marauders and KvK barbs. Now this is what I recommend. I recommend for KvK 1 and KvK 2, you use most of your action points on marauders. And this will give you a ton of resources and speed ups to be able to use to fight in KvK. Then once you get to KvK 3, you start saving your AP. You don't use AP on marauders or KvK barbs. You just save it all. That's what I did. And then for KvK 4, you get new barbs. You get upgraded barbs that you don't have in KvK 3 and below, and then you use your action points on those barbarians, and these barbs will give you a ton of materials. This is what I recommend for AP. Use on marauders KvK 1 and 2, use it on nothing KvK 3, and then going into KvK 4, use it on KvK barbs, not marauders. Another thing that people don't talk about is the teleports that KvK costs. KvK costs a ton of teleports. You need these teleports to teleport around the battlefield, teleport back to zone 4 for safety. You should be trying to save as many of these teleports as you can. I believe you can also buy them from the Alliance shop. As you can see, buy these blue ones over the purple ones. The purple ones are useless. Blue ones are what you need because you can only teleport territory anyways in KvK. So make sure you have a decent pile of these territorial teleports and targeted teleports. Going into troop training. If you are a T4 player, you should be training T4 troops in the off season, and once you get to KvK, you should be upgrading those T4s to T5. This will give you a ton of points for the pre-KvK training event, which your kingdom wants to do as good as possible in, and you'll have a ton of T4 troops to kill off in garrisons and rallies. Now, this does depend on whether you're a big whale or not, because big whales are going to push troops regardless. But if you're like a small spender, I think you train T4 and then upgrade them to T5 during pre-KvK. The next thing I want to talk about is migration. If you are migrating to a different kingdom right before KvK, you need to make sure you have your passports, and the way you get passports is in the shop right here. You can get them for 600,000 silver, or you can get them in the bundle. It's in the super value bundle all the way to the right, the new world bundle. This is a monthly reset bundle. I recommend if you are spending for passports, you buy the tier 1 for $5 and the tier 2 for $10, and then stop and then buy it again next month. And the reason for that is because that is the most value for your money for passports. The tier 1 and tier 2 bundle will give you the same passport value per money, and it goes down and down the more the bundle gets leveled up. If you're looking for a new kingdom and you don't know how, join the Rise of Kingdoms official Discord, and they have a kingdom tab on there for kingdom ads, and you can search through that. It has the seed and everything. There's also a restart project tab on the Rise of Kingdoms Discord as well. And make sure you migrate in a timely manner. As you can see, when your kingdom enters pre-KvK, no more migrants can come. So if you're slow and late, then you'll miss the window. Now, if you're in KvK 4 and beyond, you'll need to start worrying about crystal tech. Now, crystal tech is a per KvK thing, and that I've learned about very, very recently. There's various ways to push your crystal tech, but I think the most easy way is to do bastions and to do barb killing. You also have a crystal mine that you can upgrade and a crystal research thing that you can upgrade to upgrade your tech. We'll be looking at this a little bit more once my KvK starts, but I have looked up a crystal tech guide and I have a document on that, which I will be following. Another thing you need to worry about is buffs. These boosts are not the easiest to come up by, especially the 50% expansions, and if you do need more, you might have to spend gems on them. Same with these 24-hour advanced attack boosts and defense boosts. All three of these things, the army expansions and the boosts, will be necessary for your big fights in KvK. If you aren't using these, you're at a big disadvantage. You should have enough troops to do a 50% expansion, and if you don't, then you need to get more troops now and should not fight until you get them probably, because this is a huge game changer. The next thing you got to do is know your role. In a kingdom, there's a lot of different roles you can play. You can be a garrison lead, you can be a rally lead, you can be a field fighter, you can be a flag filler, you can be a rally filler. You got to know what you're doing, and it's not the same throughout the KvK. Sometimes players are offline, they need people to put a bootleg garrison in a flag, maybe you need people to do a bootleg rally, because as KvKs progress, not everyone's gonna be online the whole time. Now this might have changed with pilots a little bit, but I do remember in my KvK 1 we had some bootleg rallies, we had some bootleg garrisons, because not every player could be online 24/7. Now most of the time my account would be a field fighter account, but sometimes I need to stuff my troops in a flag or a rally and just take some deads for the kingdom, and yeah, you gotta know when you have to do that. The next thing you need to figure out is your troop balance. As you can see, I have pretty even amount of cav and infantry, and that is because I run 2 marches, cav and infantry. If you have 2 infantry marches, you don't really need a lot of cav or archers, but you have to keep in mind that you still need to join cav rallies, you still need to join archer rallies, you need to kill your infantry and infantry garrisons, and you still need a decent amount of the other troop types just for that. Because if everyone just has 1 infantry march and they're just training infantry, then the cav and archer rallies will lack a lot of their punch because they'll have less troops than the garrisons. Another thing you might want to know is some last minute crafts and armament rerolls. If you are close to getting some upgrades in your gear, I recommend either saving for alliance mobilization or the day the pass opens. You never know what you're going to get, and you could get something better than what you have, and that calls for a change in plans. If you do it right before the pass opens, you'll make sure you will be able to do the best thing for your account right before fighting starts. And this also goes for armaments. As you guys know, I want to reroll this, but I'm going to hold off until we get closer to a pass opening, because who knows, what if I just get a better armament than this? It's going to be hard, of course, but it could happen. It could happen. Now, if you're a spender, you might want to consider some bundles to buy to get more speed ups and healing. I know there's a big one that people have been buying recently called the Circle of Life, which gives you a lot of healing speed ups. You get the War Machine, of course, which gives you a lot of training speedups, will be important for pre-KvK. And then you also have the Mountain Warfare bundle, which comes during KvK, which a lot of spenders will have to pick up because it's just an insane bundle. Make sure you join your Kingdoms KvK Discord for a group camp, and make sure you join your Kingdoms Discord for just to join your kingdom. And there'll probably be Discord conversations going on during war, so you can follow the war leads and be able to fight the most efficiently, because I'll be honest, fighting with markers is difficult, especially if you're not focused on the markers at all times. You could create farm fillers. Farm fillers are a T4 farm account, and they're used just to fill flags and rallies. And they're kind of important because your main account obviously can't take infinite deaths, because then you run out of troops to fight in the field with. So you have to use some farms to fill the flags and rallies, and it's just a good idea. So if you have a T4 farm, train some T4 troops during pre-KvK and then kill them off during KvK. My last tip is to keep in mind where you are in KvK. Now this isn't a pre-KvK or preparing for KvK tip, but this is so important. I see it so much where players are getting zeroed in KvK because they log off in war zones. If you're gonna log off in a war zone, pop a peace shield, minimum. If you aren't gonna pop a peace shield, teleport back to the safest zone. Not the zone behind, but the safest zone. Because you never know, what if they 4-drop in that zone and they start burning cities. You don't want to get zeroed. It's probably one of the worst feelings in this game. And yeah, I hope I taught you something and gave you some helpful tips. These are the tips I'm reusing to prepare for my 1v3 KvK. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in more videos. Peace.